Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Maldives with Palestine. I am Sharma Shoaib, your host for the day. This program is dedicated to sharing the voices, struggles, and hopes of the Palestinian people as seen and felt through those who have lived. Today we are joined by a guest who has experienced life in Gaza firsthand. While news headlines often focus on politics and numbers, behind every statistic is a human life, a story, a family. Through this conversation, we aim to shed light on everyday realities, challenges, and resilience of Palestinians, and to strengthen the bonds of solidarity between the Maldives and Palestine. Welcome, Mansour Shoman. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to our program.
Thank you for having me.
So my first question would be, since you've been through this and you've seen the first-hand experience, what were the biggest challenges you faced when it came to accessing the basic needs like food, clean water, and electricity?
Thank you very much for this opportunity to speak to you, sister. MashaAllah, it's an honor to be here in the Maldives, to be amongst the people here. MashaAllah, you have a very warm community, very welcoming community, and Maldives and Palestine are always one, inshallah. When the genocide started after October the 7th, the people in Gaza thought that this will be another war like the earlier 6 mini wars that happened over the last 15 years by the Zionists against the Palestinian people in Gaza. So in the beginning they were saying that, subhanAllah, it's only gonna be a few weeks or a couple of months, 3 months maximum, and then some kind of ceasefire will be agreed upon and hostages exchanged and so on. So in the beginning, people weren't. They were saying, this is going to be something similar like before. So we just need to exercise patience and be resilient. Gaza had an emergency food storage, for example, that would last for 6 months. People who lost their homes would go and live with their families. So people had different contingency plans. However, as the world is seeing, this is now not just like any war before. This is a genocide. This is people trying to be forced from their land in totality and to expand on their illegal Zionist state, whether it be in Gaza or it be in the West Bank through illegal settlements there. So for me personally, I'm married. I have 5 children. I'm originally from Jerusalem. I was imprisoned and expelled from Jerusalem. I got my Jerusalem ID revoked. And my wife is from Gaza. I decided to live with my family there from 2022. When after October the 7th, one of the first buildings to be targeted by the Zionists were our local masjid. And since then, they slowly started bringing down different residences. We live beside Al-Shifa Hospital, the biggest hospital in Gaza, located in Gaza City, the capital of Gaza Strip. So when we felt that we weren't safe anymore in our residence, and we were also being exposed to illegal chemical warfare, white phosphorus, we decided, let's just move with the families that were moving and be inside Al-Shifa Hospital, because we thought that this would be a safe zone. We were shocked to see thousands of other families who were staying within the vicinity of the hospital, around it, in the building. And subhanAllah, we experienced what right now around 2 million people are experiencing on a daily basis. You don't know when your food is going to come. You don't know if you're going to get access to clean water. If one of your children gets sick, you're not sure how you're going to provide medication for them. You were not sure if you were going to find a bed to sleep on. I remember one day going to get bread from a bakery for my family, And when I was coming back after waiting for a long time in the lineups, a drone seeking a missile targeted the building that I was walking beside. And subhanallah, I was able to slide under a freight vehicle that was standing beside that building, and all the rubble came down. And when I wanted to get out from under the rubble and leave, I realized that the building wasn't completely brought to the ground. And I know from experience that they want to make sure the whole building is down. So again, a second missile hit and then a third missile hit until they made sure that all the building was down. And I was able to get out from under the vehicle, and I was covered in rubble and with some minor injuries. And despite that, subhanAllah, I went back to my family carrying those 2 bags of bread, even though it was fully covered in dust, you know. And I realized that whatever they throw at us, we'll still continue to try to survive and to thrive. I noticed in the beginning of the war that, subhanAllah, not a lot of proper, unbiased English coverage was being done from inside Gaza. So I decided to volunteer and try to help to report the news in English from the ground. Also note that during the beginning of this genocide, there was a lot of strong Zionist propaganda talking about how Palestinians raped women, how they killed and beheaded children, how we were like animals and we deserved to be bombed. And so, subhanAllah, I decided to go into reporting the news through different international TV stations. This then broadened into social media and then into humanitarian work. When I started doing that kind of work, I unfortunately had to separate from my family. My family had to live with their family members, and I had to stay and live with the journalists in the tents in the hospitals. Because, as you are aware, journalism for Zionists are targets, and they've killed over 238 journalists up to date until now. This is the biggest number since World War II at any given conflict. So, subhanAllah, several times when I was there, I heard that my family, the neighborhood they were in, was targeted. Several times they were at near-death situations and circumstances. Alhamdulillah, 1 month into this genocide, my family, we decided that it was better if they can leave temporarily Gaza, because they were basically just draining resources. They were living with 8 other families in the same apartment, and if they left temporarily, once this genocide succeeds, they can come back and stay in Gaza. But I decided to stay there because, as a man, I felt that it's my obligation to do something, even if it's just remove the rubble, even if it's just donate blood, right? Even if it's just telling the world what's happening, it's my obligation to do that. And again, this is not any land, this is the Holy Land, right? This is the land, الأرض التي باركنا فيها للعالمين. It's an honor to be there and to do what we are doing. So again, we are not heroes, we are just doing our obligation. We are doing the amana that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave on us. And I am sure that free people around the world, free Muslims like people in here in Maldives, would do even more than that if they were in the situation that we were in. Right now, the humanitarian situation in Gaza is very difficult. It's very challenging. Gaza has been an open-air prison for many years now. Everything is controlled by the Israelis at different checkpoints. And they calculate, actually, how many calories each Palestinian should take in. And they calculate how much is needed to ensure that people will barely survive. Unfortunately, the Auschwitz and what the Germans did to their prisoners in World War II is now being repeated by these people to the Palestinians. Unfortunately, right now, with the knowledge and with people, billions of people all around the world seeing everything live, if not through national television, through social media, through your application. You can see from hundreds of volunteer social media influencers what's going on the ground. Right now, Israel is talking about a greater Israel plan openly that will include Egypt and Jordan and Syria and Iraq and Saudi Arabia and Turkey and Lebanon. So we need to stand by the people of Gaza. They are our first line of defense. And mashallah, despite everything being thrown at them, they not only are able to resist, they are also able to inspire millions of people from around the world. So again, Palestine has always been a land of positive change. They've always been the land that was able to resist against 19 crusades. They were able to resist the Mughals and defeat them. They were able to resist and defeat the French, the Byzantine Empire. This is the birthplace of prophets. So, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Allah only wants what is best for this ummah. That's why He puts them through tribulations and hardships to make them stronger and to prepare them for something better, inshallah. One final note, mashallah, I want to thank the people of Maldives, especially through their amazing humanitarian organization, IAC. I've been on the ground in Gaza, involved in humanitarian work from the beginning and continue to be involved. They are doing amazing work, despite the relatively smaller donations. No, don't look at it that way. The effect you have, the impact you have is much greater than countries providing millions, but it's being put in the wrong place. And don't listen to the Zionist propaganda that says that X and Y and Z are terrorist organizations. Zionists are masters of propaganda. They always try to divide and conquer. They always try to belittle others as well. They see themselves as the best amongst everyone else. So, mashallah, your donations are going to the right place. Continue what you are doing on that regard.
Since you mentioned you've seen the first-hand experience and you've lived through it, what was the hardest part emotionally about living there? Like you've seen
Yes.
So many people go through so many things. You've seen these bombings live in front of your eyes, people dying. So what was the hardest part emotionally for you?
I think the hardest part was to see the most vulnerable suffer, like seeing the children, the women, the elderly, the sick. Subhanallah, we are human beings at the end, made of flesh, right? And we have souls. So seeing that firsthand and feeling helpless is really difficult. I remember doing one of my first live interviews on Al Jazeera, and I showed, like, they were saying, that Israelis are saying that Palestinians beheaded children in the kibbutzes around Gaza without any proof, right? So I showed them proof of Palestinian children that have been beheaded, who lost their limbs, right? Who lost their fathers, their mothers. Right now we have over 30,000 orphans in Gaza who lost one or both of their parents. These are not statistics. Like you rightly said, each one has a story. Each one has a life that they've been living, right? So seeing that on a daily basis, especially located in a hospital, every day praying salat, the funeral prayers amongst the people who lost their loved ones. I remember seeing a child looking over her father and mother. She was telling them, Baba, Mama, wake up, let's go, we need to go home. But her father and mother, unfortunately, they've been deceased. She doesn't know that they're dead. She thinks they're alive and they're asleep. So she's trying to wake them up. Like going sometimes, going into the funeral, I remember doing a coverage for Russia TV, going into where they keep the deceased, those that have been martyred, in the fridges. And subhanallah, people trying to uncover to see if their loved ones are there. We also have over 25,000 people under the rubble until now. Like, we don't know their whereabouts, we don't know what's happening to them. So a lot of people are just trying to understand, where are my loved ones? Are they alive or dead? You know, and then once they know that they are, alhamdulillah, they've uncovered them dead, they know at least, alhamdulillah, I am at ease. You know, alhamdulillah, at least my daughter or son is a martyr. Because sometimes they're afraid that they have been taken as prisoners with the Israelis and they don't know if they have been imprisoned or not. Even before October the 7th, we've had over 10,000 prisoners, many females and many children within the Israeli prisons. No one talks about them. You know, you see the world leaders talk about the 50 Israeli hostages, they wear the yellow emblem. But what about the thousands of Palestinian prisoners? No one talks about them. No one talks about their being beaten every day, put in solitary confinement, malnourished. You feel the hypocrisy in the world, right? And don't be, I mean, like even the Israelis that are now demonstrating against the right-wing government, many of them, they aren't demonstrating to permanently stop the war. They're just telling them, no, just temporarily stop it, get the hostages out, then continue. Let's finish off the people of Gaza and Palestine. So they have an apartheid, they have a genocide mentality, and unfortunately for them, they are very open about it. Look at their soldiers, what they post on social media. Look at their leaders, what they say about Palestinians. They're very open about it now. That unfortunately, for them, all what they have trying to propagate about them being democratic, human rights, about Israel being this amazing place to live, right now has gone down the drain. No one believes them anymore. No one believes them because, sorry to interrupt you, if you remember at the beginning of the war, they used to say that under Al-Shifa hospital is the command and control center for the H group. So this is like, no one believes them anymore. Sorry.
You mentioned about being imprisoned. How was that experience? Could you tell me how they treat the prisoners and how brutal they are actually?
So it was in 2009. I was leaving Jerusalem to go to another country, and when I was gonna exit the border, the bridge, they said wait. They asked me to wait for a few minutes, and then I waited for a couple of hours. The bridge closed. It was nightfall. I'm like, what do I do? Do I go home? They said, no, there is nothing. Just wait, just wait. And then I see military vehicles come and young kids coming down from the vehicles and saying you are under arrest. And then they recite 7 different terrorism charges. They put you in handcuffs, they blindfold you, and they basically take you somewhere, you don't know where. It's an interrogation center. You're not allowed to see a lawyer. You have like charges against you. You have to answer to things that you have no idea what they're talking about. And they try to pressure you to say that you did something that you did not. You are put into solitary confinement. The cell I was in had spikes on the floor, on the walls, very dark. You had one light that was on 24/7. And you had in the middle a place that you can go to the bathroom. And you don't know what time it is. You're not given proper nutrition. You're not allowed to sleep. If you try to sleep, like for example, at one point I tried to cover the light with one of my clothes to allow me to sleep. Then the guards come, they beat you, they remove that from the light, and you say you're not allowed to sleep. They try to break you so that when they take you back for interrogation, you tell them whatever they want to hear, right? And then you go ahead and a lawyer came in after 2 weeks of me being in interrogation. He told me that, this is a letter from your family, they miss you, they want to make sure, see if you are okay or not. And I remember also getting people from the embassy coming to me. They said, we cannot help you, Israelis have, it's all under the Israeli control here. There's a lot of mental interrogation tactics. They play a lot of good cop, bad cop roles. There's a lot of, for example, they will put you in other prisoner camps where these prisoners themselves are spies for Israel. You know, like they speak Arabic. They try to convince you they are Palestinians and they are imprisoned like Palestinians, but they're actually spies that report back everything you say. So I was put into these prisoner cells as well. So lots of mental, again, pressure. SubhanAllah. And then I got my Jerusalem ID revoked, and I was told I'm not allowed to come back to my home. This is one of the most difficult things, to realize that you lost your home country. You know, you don't have a place to live in anymore. I mean, if someone here does that to one of the people living on one of your islands, just removes you out and says, you're not allowed here anymore. Like, this is your home, right?
Thank you for joining us on More Lives with Palestine. Hearing the first-hand experience like this reminds us that beyond politics and headlines, there are real people, real families, and real struggles. As Maldivians, we stand together with Palestine, not just in words, but in spirit, in compassion, and in hope for a better tomorrow. May we continue to learn and listen and keep their voices alive. Until our next program, take care and stay connected in solidarity.